Hi everyone, I hope you are good, and I really hope that you're enjoying the assignment. I'm seeing a lot of discussion in the model forum, the model of a flow, and I'm very happy to see that for this course. So keep going like that. And there are multiple things that we'll be talking over this particular video, which is not a lecture. It's some sort of a practical that we usually do in the lab, but then I'll do it by myself, and you will have to try to replicate or basically understand what you couldn't understand while you were doing this assignment. So there are multiple things that I wanted to go through first, but the parts that we'll touch will be basically the Python installation, the virtual environments in Python, Wireshark, and a bit of what you need to submit during the practical, which is not the code, which will be part of Wireshark. So we start by the Python part. So I know this for those of you who know exactly how to do an installation in Python, you can skip over this part. I'll split the parts in YouTube so that you don't have to look at this again. So I usually install Python using something called Anaconda. So this package is available for the three main OSs you will see, like Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. And we mostly use the version 3.6, right? So you download that one and then you install it in your system, and that will be giving you Python. So you'll be able to use Python, and when you will get to the terminal, you would see that it has some Anaconda into it. So Anaconda, it's just a bigger package that installs you Python and all the required dependencies that you need to use Python, including pip and whatever you need to install, right? So this is nice. The problem is it's quite big. It has a lot of libraries that you might not use during this course. It's like you see, it has about 600 pre-installed package, including some packages you might not use, right? But then it's a quick and easy way to install Python without actually going into the settings of Windows or Linux or Macs, so that you have this Python running. You also have the original Python website that I encourage you to go and look at. So if you have a Python question or a Python query, then it happens here. The community, they're very close to the people, and then they understand what the people are going through. They are currently in Python 3.8. I wouldn't advise you to go for that, but we'll be using Python 3.7, and just go with Python 3.7. And you can actually just go and download the Python that you want to install in your machine, for example Windows, and then you go and you download your installation or your zip file for Windows, and then you will be up and running, right? This is the Python installation. And for the Python installation, it's done. You will be able to then go and use Python into your computer, right? Cool. Now, let's assume that you have Python in your computer and then you want to use it. There are multiple ways of doing it, but me, I like using the new Windows terminal. It's like it's a bit like PowerShell, but then it's a new terminal that allows you to go into some other environments as well. Like I can go to Ubuntu, I can go online to any shell I want. So it's different from your normal PowerShell. It's different from your normal command prompt, right? You have all of these things that will help you to use your Python. So if I do Python here, I'm sorted, right? If I do Python here, I'm also sorted because they're all using the same installation. It's like you can use all of those. And if you want to exit here, you do exit like this, right? Or you do exit like that. But in Unix, you can do Control D, but then it's not recognized here. But here you have to do exit with your brackets, and you actually exit. That's basically the part that you can use your Python with, like your Powershell and all of those things. You have Python, and then you say, I don't know, you use it as a calculator. 1 plus 2 is equal to 3, right? This is it. And then you have your pip that is also installed here. You can do whatever you want. If you have a lot of things like that, then you can see that pip is clearly installed, right? This is exactly that. That also now brings us to the virtual environment. So the virtual environment is basically a little box where you install your packages per project. So if you have one project, like this add number project, where you want maybe Flask 1.2, then it would make sense to install that into a virtual environment, because in this case, if you want to know all the parts, all the packages installed in your computer, you do pip freeze, right? If you do pip freeze, I have here some packages. The problem is this is installed in the whole system. It means that if I want to use Flask 1.1.2, then I have to get rid of this 1.1. It's like I have to do pip and install the Flask that is actually there, right? And you'll actually remove Flask, and then Flask is gone, that 1.1.2. And if I want to install the latest Flask, I'll do pip install Flask. I just want to install Flask, and then I'm saying this yellow thing because of the pip that needs to be updated. So if I do pip freeze, then I have Flask 1.1.2. But then if I want both, right? If I there's a project that's using Flask 1.1.1, and then there's another project that's using 1.1.2, like the project we're basically dealing with, then there will be a conflict. So if I remove Flask again, right, and then I do pip freeze, you see that Flask is not appearing here, right? Now let me go to, I'm very lazy here. Let me go to the folder where your assignment is. So, and here, and you see here, this Powershell is very, very close to Ubuntu. So I can do or to Linux, I would say. So I can do LX to see all the files in there, and I can see that there is the folder that holds the virtual environment in here. So I have pip freeze here, and we still don't see Flask, right? So now when I want to, let's say I install, sorry, I'm doing pip install Flask, and when I put this equal sign, it means that I want to put a version 1.1, let's say 1.1.0, and then I install that. You see that the version 1.1.0 went to be collected, and then I do pip freeze, and then here I have Flask 1.1.0. But then now I'm saying, no, you guys, you need to use Flask 1.1.2. But then I don't want to lose my 1.1.0. So we're going to the virtual environment here. It's a bit different from Linux, Unix, and Windows. What you need to do is to basically create a virtual environment as described here. You basically create your virtual environment, Linux, Windows, and Macs. You create your virtual environment, and after that you activate your virtual environment. And when you activate your virtual environment, this is that's basically the Windows way of doing that. This is the Linux way of doing that. And after you install your virtual environment, then you install your packages in that virtual environment. I'll put all the links in the YouTube video description. So now I activate my virtual environment. I have that. And then I start the project. I call it home, right? And then you will see the Flask, the Flask server running. This is a server listening. We're saying that the server is basically listening. A listening server is an application that doesn't stop. It just kills when you decide to kill it or when you send a kill signal, right? But then it always runs. Now you're going there, and then you have your localhost 5000. If you do that, that's one function. That's one function that's been called, right? And if you go to here, you'd see that a function has been called. It's the bar function. And this is a request. This is a request. You see the request, and the request basically from your lecture 4.2, you see that your request is having this type of pages, and then the response is basically having the protocol and the response message. But here, since it's a very trivial one, you have your request and your response message saying 200, saying that the page came out all right, it is okay, and you see it fit in the page, right? And if you even if you go to Wireshark, right, you have basically some sort of response here, which is okay, and you have your get, which has your request. One page, that's all. But we'll go to Wireshark later. Now let's go to the other Python function, which is add numbers that you are meant to do. Now apparently it's the wrong one. All right, so I'll do add numbers instead. So add numbers, and if I put this page like if I put this page on the side, sorry, I have a couple of screens here. I put this thing on the side, and then I run this page. You would see some sort of message here. A message came in here, and then you have your request, right? Yeah, this is some sort of response because yes, it says I recognize that the page arrived, but then that's a request. Now you put some two numbers, and then you add them, and you have your post reply. Don't mind this, right? It's an extra code I put, and I won't penalize you for you not having that. You see, it comes up with a very beautiful XML description of what's going on. Then you have your JSON, right? Because it's a JSON thing, and everything here is required for you to send a message to Python and receive the response from the server, right? That is basically your assignment. This is exactly what you need to do. And I won't show you Wireshark. In fact, I'll even close it because you will have some parts of the answer. But then I wanted to show you in Wireshark what you need to do, although I've shown you what you need to do already, right, from the terminal. All right, so I'll send you all these links, and that will be great for you to go and just look at it. Now, Wireshark. Now we're going to Wireshark. Wireshark, you would want to use Wireshark. There are some people saying they can't access their adapters. So when you go to Wireshark, you have to look for Wireshark, you right-click on this, and then you run it as an administrator. And in fact, if you run it just as so, you won't see any adapters. You might see some adapters here because I ran it before as an administrator, but it should be empty. But then when you run it as an administrator, it's not empty anymore. So what you need to look at, you need to look at the adapter for loopback traffic capture. That's exactly where you need to get your local host responses, right? This is basically where you need to get that, right? But then since I want to go over the internet, and that part will be tricky, we do not have the same configuration in our computers, right? I decided to have my internet traffic into this network bridge, right? Which is basically connecting to my virtual machines. It connects to my physical machines. It connects to some other things, and my all of those virtual and physical machines want to access internet. So I'm using a network bridge. But then you might have a Wi-Fi adapter. You might have a wireless adapter. I mean, you might have an Ethernet adapter. Whatever provides you internet and whatever gives you this much use, right? So if I go here and then I'm going to this website, because finding an HTTP website is now pretty hard. Now we have all the websites are going by HTTPS using some sort of transport layer security, right? So they all have HTTPS, but if I want to go HTTP, you see it doesn't have some sort of protections. Then I'll go here. I'll just go to that website, and then I'm looking basically for some gets. If I can get a get request here, let me try maybe that. If I can have some get requests. Oh yeah, let's put HTTP first. HTTP. Oh, all right. So we have some page not available. Fine, it still makes it. So here we filter everything by HTTP, and you can see we have some sort of response here, and we have some sort of request, and this is exactly what I want you to do. This is a page and this is a request that has a get keyword here that says I want to get this particular page. I want to get this particular page using HTTP1 and all of these things. And you can see that we still under where did I do that? We still under this, right? Get the host, user agent, and all of those things keep alive. Now, when the guy comes back, it says that, okay, I have some sort of response for you, and then this is it. One page, another page. This is exactly what you need to do on Wireshark, right? This is the part that you need to submit to me. Those two images of the request and response from the functions that I basically asked you to write. All right, so that's basically it, and hopefully I help you to solve most of these problems. I tried to cover as much as I could. If you have a question, please let me know. I might respond a bit late, as you notice. I respond pretty late, 1 or 2 days late, but it will not penalize you into your submission. I mean, it will penalize you if you didn't do the assignment. It will penalize you if you give me wrong answers. But then my delay into replying with respect with your questions will not penalize you. Also, the marker is not set yet. So I will be the one and the tutors that will basically mark your assignment. So make sure that you give the right answer. Make sure that you review your answer. We'll give you some sort of feedback, but please keep in mind that this is manual work. It is hard to mark all the 200 and some numbers that you are, but then we'll try to give you as much feedback as we can. Hopefully you got a little something out of this, and good luck again for your assignment. Bye.